So this arting session is going to be a little bit loosey-goosey because I'm speaking in the moment for this video, which is not my strong point. But then this whole video will probably have a limited appeal because the purpose for this is I wanted to get some exercise in for my left hand. I am currently seeing an occupational therapist to get motion back into my fingers and wrist after an injury. So this is to help me exercise my left hand, because what I'm going to do, I am right hand dominant, by the way, but for the purpose of these exercises, I'm going to be using my left hand for the actual painting process. By the way, hi, I'm Irene, and this is Inkworks. So this video might have a limited appeal, but I wanted to share it anyway, because obviously I am not the only person in this situation, has ever been in this situation, or ever will be in this situation. And maybe this might be helpful for someone else who is experiencing something like this with limited mobility issues, whether it's temporary or an ongoing thing. So I did these exercises last night to figure out what I wanted to do in this video. The plan for this session is that I am going to do a couple of spreads in this book. This is the Hanamulla Bamboo Mixed Media pad, and this is 90% bamboo fibers and 10% cotton rag. So this is an interesting paper. It does have a little bit of texture like a cold press watercolor, although probably not as much texture as that. Maybe in between like a hot press and a cold press normally. But I'm going to do 2 pages. One I will do with my fingers with watercolors, and then the other one I will do with a brush in my left hand. So 2 different approaches for this exercise. This one that I did last night, I did with the Kuretake Art Nouveau watercolor set. And this is the Kansai Japanese watercolors. And mainly because I just really wanted to use this set again. I love the colors, and I really like the color combination that I picked out for this. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, maybe something a little more colorful might be more interesting. So what I did was tested out some of my other watercolors to see what I could use together that would hopefully evoke like a late fall, November-y type of color combination, since this is, as I'm doing this is November 1st, and I just wanted to stay seasonal. So for the background, what I want to use is this. Oh, I should have done that with my left hand. I should have tried. The whole point of this is to use this as in my left hand as much as possible. So here we go. This is Naples Yellow, and this is from the Core brand of watercolors. And I think I only have like 6 colors from Core, and this is one of them. This is Naples Yellow, and that one is, I believe, this swatch here, and also this swatch down here. Those 2 swatches are this Naples Yellow. And I thought that would be a nice backdrop to put the other colors on top of. This is M. Graham, and it is Burnt Sienna, which is this swatch right here. Then I thought this dark green, which is what is that called? Perylene green, I believe. Yes, perylene green. from Da Vinci brand. This is the Perylene green. Oops, there we go. And then for sure, I think I want to use this one from Daniel Smith, which is this purple, and also this one here. Those are both the same purple. It's called Carbazole Violet, and this is a Daniel Smith shade. I'm not positive I'm going to use this one, but I pulled Maroon Perylene from M. Graham, I believe. Yes, M. Graham. And I really like it, and I'm not sure it really goes with the fall vibes, but maybe I can fit it in. We'll see. So these are the colors that I chose. It's 5 colors with this Naples yellow as the underpainting part for both the finger painting and also the brush painting. So I think what I'll do is I will kind of wet this paper. So I think I'll start by wetting the paper a bit to give it a head start on maybe helping the colors. The Naples yellow, this is from Core. And with the other colors, I'll use my other fingers, but I think for this first background color, I'll just use my pointer finger. And I didn't want it to be too saturated, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And just kind of spread that around. Oh. Okay. What I'm going for is, a soft, maybe mottled look for the background, which is something I have done a number of times in the past on art projects. I like that look. I'm going to use a hair dryer to help this dry. Yeah, I slept in a bit this morning, but I had to get up eventually because in my dreams I start wandering around looking for a bathroom or a public restroom somewhere. I'm like in a mall or an airport and I can't find a restroom, and the dream just keeps going on like that, on, and until finally I wake up and I go, oh, I guess I should go to the bathroom. And I figured, okay, well, since I'm up, I'll go shower and start my art project. Yeah, that color, I used my first finger, and now for the next color, I am going to use my next finger. And I think what I will do is I will go ahead and use that burnt sienna. And I'm just going to target that one with my spray bottle. And actually, I do have an eyedropper. I could probably just drop some water in there. So, a couple drops of water in that burnt sienna. And then, okay, let's keep this in frame. And then, second finger. Yes, second finger. I'm just going to use my finger to apply some color, some dollops of color. And I'm not sure if I want to drag it, so maybe I'll just start by doing like a fingerprint shape. Yeah, and then see if like that. And this is totally random. Like I said, it's just an exercise. It's just to get my hand back into motion action, getting it to do some work again. I know one of my regular viewers, she's commented a number of times, I think Marjorie, she has mentioned that she has an ongoing issue with her arm, and that's from an old injury, I believe. So, I mean, you never know. People have issues. Sometimes something like this might be able to help. I don't know, but it's a thought. Marjorie's such a sweetheart. She's left wonderful, encouraging comments on the videos. Thank you, Marjorie. And she has some inspiring stories too, I tell you. And not just Marjorie, you know, a lot of people who leave comments will share something that they've experienced, and I love reading comments like that. So that was Burnt Sienna, and I think next I'll do the Perylene Green. That's not too wet. I'll go ahead. It doesn't matter if the colors kind of blend into each other or run a little bit. That's fine. But now I'm going to use my third finger here. And this way, I'm going to actually turn it upside down so that I get a little more, less predictable, I guess, placement. And something like that. Isn't that a great green color? Well, I love greens. Okay, green is one of my favorite colors. I think I keep switching back and forth because green is my favorite color or one of my favorite colors. I have a few. I love greens. I love browns. I love purples. So, yeah, I can switch from day to day, right? All right, now the pinky finger is the one that's been most uncooperative, but I think I'll do the purple. Yeah, I'll do the purple here, and I'll add some water to that purple pan. These are full pans, by the way. I'm a big fan of full pans. For this, it's definitely good to have the full pans, at least for me, for my level of control here. And I think I'll switch it back to the other way again now. And oh my goodness, you pinky, you, yeah. The pinky is a struggle, for sure. And I kind of have a lot of paint with that first application there, so I kind of take some of that wetness and move it, dab at it, and so it's not too much paint in one spot. And again with the pinky. Yeah. I don't know, I kind of like, I'm glad I didn't drag the lines. I mean, that could be another look for sure, and maybe I'll do that some other time, but I kind of like just the little dabs with the fingerprint look, right? That's kind of interesting. Oh, maybe a little bit more over here. And I don't know, I just like that Carbazole Violet. Ever since I got it, it was part of the 3 color set from Daniel Smith. It was like 3 tubes, and it was an orange, green, and this purple, and they're like perfect Halloween colors. And that set was so wonderful. Those colors were my kind of colors. Yeah, what were those? This is Carbazole Violet. The other one was, I think it was called Undersea Green. And then the orange, it might have been like a burnt orange or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, wonderful color set. But you know, I think I've heard that they've actually changed the colors in that set. So it's still like a purple, orange, and green, but I believe they've changed the specific colors. What I also want to do is do a little bit of splatter. And I am going to use my left hand with that technique. I'm also going to use my right hand. So what I'll do is I will, yes, that's right. I was going to use the red, the maroon perylene, right? What is that called? Yes, maroon perylene from M. Graham. But I'm going to load up this brush. This is number 10 round from Princeton's Aqua Elite series. I'm going to load that up with water, and I'm going to going in with the maroon perylene, loading that up with a very wet color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to tap with my right hand here so that I get little splatters. And I'm trying not to tap too hard because I don't want to hurt myself. But I'm just holding the brush not too tight, but just tight enough where when I tap it, it's not, you know, knocking the brush out of my hand. Load it up. Okay. Okay, yeah. That was a little wetter, so I'm getting a little bigger drops there. Okay, I think that's, I don't know. I think that's enough. Yeah, and I splattered all over myself too. So this is exercise number 1. And let me just let this dry for a bit, and then I'll show you a close-up of it. Maybe clean up my mess here. Okay, so I have used the hair dryer to dry this sheet, but I also dabbed a little bit on some of the wetter spots with a blue shop towel. And you might be able to tell that that's what I did on there on some of those spots where the color was lifted a little bit. So let me just show you a little closer up here what happened here. Remember, this was the background yellow, and then the colors of like burnt sienna, perylene green, carbazole violet, and maroon perylene. And every step I'd used my left hand in some way in the process. So this time, instead of using my fingers, I am going to use this 3/4 inch wash brush from Princeton's Aqua Elite series. And again, I'm going to use this Naples yellow for the background. Now, you've probably noticed, I'm not bothering to mix colors with this in this session. I'm just using them straight from the pans. So I wet this brush really well and dipped it in here, but I am still going to add some extra water there. So it's nice and wet and it's loaded up. And but what I will probably do is add more clean water on top of it just to spread it around too, because I don't want it to be too saturated. So that's why what I'm going to do is I'm going to load that brush with more water and just run it over to kind of get that a little lighter in color. And if it's still too dark for my liking, I can always lift it with a towel while it's still wet. More hair drying. So our Halloween was pretty quiet last night. Yeah, we prepared 30 treat bags just in case, even though last year we had only a handful of trick-or-treaters, and this year we had 0. Yeah, it's a little sad, but I'm thinking kids have, I think, the option these days of going to other events, like community events, like in our city, in the downtown area, they have activities on Halloween where kids can go and they can trick or treat at the local businesses, and they can have things to do and go in costume and see and be seen, basically. And I'm thinking maybe next year, maybe we'll go downtown and enjoy the festivities. I'm going to try and do that plaid pattern that I showed early at the beginning of the video. Replicate that again using these watercolors. So let me think, what am I going to do? I'm not going to use the Naples yellow because I use that for the background. And then I'll use the Perylene maroon as an accent color again. So I'll mainly do the 3 colors, the burnt sienna, Perylene green, and carbazole violet as the stripes. Just adding some water to these pans. Okay, so this one is burnt sienna. Water. Okay. Oh boy. My hand is none too steady, but we will. Okay, yeah. And I think I'm going to try and fit 3 stripes on here. So what I'll do is I'll try, and I want this to be, let's see, there's going to be another one, and then this one. Okay. And then another one, and this one. I'm going to do the vertical stripes first, let that dry, then do the horizontal stripes. Now we've got the Perylene green. And again, I'm adding a lot of water to these pans because I want to load that brush up. So it is. Yes. And next is going to be carbazole violet. That beautiful, deep, dark purple. It's just gorgeous. Because I had laid so much paint down, I'm going to dab a little bit on where it's the wettest here. And I'm just going to lift some of that to help. I don't want to be here forever waiting for this to dry. So I'm just going to dab. and then I will hair dry. Okay, so that's not completely dry, but it's good enough. All right. Oh, I'm liking how that's looking. My goodness. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now I am going to do some vertical lines and just making sure. Oops, let's get some clean water. Pulling water from the filthy, dirty container. Let's take some of the cleaner water from. I have 2 containers of water here. One has gotten pretty dirty, but the other one is relatively clean, so that's fine. Okay. All right. Yeah, this. Okay. Burnt sienna as the second one. And leave space for the green, the purple, and here's the brown. Okay. I don't know why I'm so nervous about that. A little bit of anxiety, right? You know, it's just an exercise, but I do want it to look nice, but I guess that's not the point. The point is to just get the motion going. Hold the brush, dab it in the paint. Okay, that was the Perylene green, and now I'm going in with the Carbazole violet. It's going to go on top there. And in the middle there. We'll stick with the big brush. I was thinking about titling this video the Big Brush Therapy, right? big brush watercolor therapy. But yeah, I just wanted to do like a thin. Isn't really working very well, but oh well. Some more. I don't know. Does that look late fall, like November, or does it look more winter? I think I do want a little more of that Naples yellow in there, and that's why I am going to get that Naples yellow wet again, and oops, forgot. I was using the wrong hand. Nice and load it up again. And I'm going to go, I don't know, just go each one, yeah. To the vertical. All right. Yeah, I think that makes it look more fallish with more of the Naples yellow in there. Yeah, I'm so glad I decided to add more of the Naples yellow on top, because I think I was getting a little too wintry looking with all the colors, and I think this brought it back down into more of a fall, autumnal feel or look. I don't know if it says November, maybe it's more October-y, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the color combinations. So those are all the same colors, the same 5 colors. Naples yellow, burnt sienna, perylene green, carbazole violet, and maroon perylene. And that was a mix of 3 brands, 3 watercolor paint brands: M. Graham, Daniel Smith, and Core. Anyway, I think this was a fun and worthwhile exercise for me personally, because it's something that I think is useful to incorporate into my goal, which is to get my left hand back into working order. But like I said, I also wanted to share it with you because I think, at least maybe in a small niche audience might find it very interesting or possibly helpful. There are a couple of things I guess I didn't explain. For instance, this little tray here is handmade by producer Mike. I didn't make it, he did for me, because I asked him if he could do something like this for me, and he used what we had on hand, which is some balsa wood. So I don't think balsa wood, you can't really finish it or seal it or paint it, or I think it's just too porous. So that's why this is not sealed in any way. But it's just some balsa wood pieces that were glued together, cut and glued together to make these 2 tracks here that can hold 4 full pans of watercolor on each track. I only used 5 colors, so I didn't fill it up. But basically, it can hold up to 8 full pans of watercolors, and that's basically how I like to work these days with watercolors. Is I don't necessarily want an entire palette next to me as I work on my work surface, because space is at a premium. There's never enough space for everything, and this takes up relatively much less space than, say, a palette of 24 pans or 12 pans or whatever. So this is pretty compact, and I can put as many pans in there, up to 8, as I need. A lot of times I'll use 3, 4, 5 colors. Fewer times I'll use more than that, but I like that I have the option to add up to 8 on here if I want to. Normally I don't use more than that in any given project. Maybe down the line, maybe we'll figure out how to make this out of a different material that's a little more workable as far as staining or sealing, and making it a nice looking tray that maybe we could sell them. Maybe we could sell them at the farmer's market or something. And the other thing that I didn't explain is, this arm is fine. I didn't really want to bring it up because I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, that woman, she's a wreck. She broke her left arm, now she broke her right arm. No, this arm is fine. All it is I was cooking, browning meatballs in a frying pan, a skillet, and I was breaking up the meatballs with one of those ground beef tools. It's where you break up the ground beef. Anyway, I wanted the meatballs to be smaller pieces, so I was breaking up the meatballs, and I slipped, and my arm pressed against the edge of the hot skillet, and it gave me a burn. That was fine. It wasn't too bad. I ran it under cold water like you're supposed to, and it's fine. But a couple days later, I wasn't thinking. I'd totally forgotten about it, and I was scratching my arm, and all of a sudden I go, ow, and I realized I'd scraped off a layer of skin over that burn, and so I put some ointment on it and some gauze, and then wrapped it with the wrapping to keep myself from forgetting and scratching again. So that's that story, okay? This is not the she's a danger to herself channel. No, this is Inkworks, watercolors, gouache, inks, fountain pens, physical therapy. Thanks for coming and hanging around here watching me do this, because I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting idea. It was a great suggestion, I think, from my therapist, who suggested, hey, why don't you try finger painting, since I'm so lazy about doing the real exercises, right? Like that crunch. Until next time, stay healthy, stay mobile. And if you have colors like these or similar ones, you can stay autumnal, even through winter. But first and foremost, stay artsy, my friends.